My name is Sydney Rasper, and this is Elizabeth Rowling, and we will be discussing the most successful character trait. So our topic question was, what is the most successful character trait? Is it integrity?
In kind of introducing why we chose this topic, both of us are in our senior year of college and we're about to enter into the workforce, and we want to know how to truly be successful out there, not only as individuals but as workers and as friends and community members.
Yeah, and we wanted to define that success as an accomplishment of personal goals. We knew we needed to view this definition from a Christian worldview, but success is neither Christian nor secular. It's instead the personal goals that need to be looked at from a Christian worldview. This mentality did make it a little bit more difficult to coin like one specific character trait, but we still feel pretty confident in our answer. So for our literature reviews, we looked at The Second Mountain by David Brooks, and then a Forbes article called Empathy is the Most Important Leadership Skill according to research by Tracy Brower, and then Successful Come and Go by Integrity is Forever by Amy Rees Anderson. Each of these literature discussed a little bit differently about how community is really important and creating relationships with people and serving others, and how important that is to achieve a second mountain life. And then in the empathy article, we learned about how when leaders are attuned to their workplace environment and act on the needs of their employees, they find that their workplace is more successful and is a better environment. And then in the final Forbes article, we heard Amy Rees Anderson discuss how she believes integrity can lead people to trust others and be more productive because they trust others, and that sets them up for success.
Two other pieces of articles that we looked at was one article by Business Insider that talked about the restaurant Chick-fil-A and how it is successful and why that could be compared to their competitors such as McDonald's or Burger King, what sets it apart. And what we found is that it talks about how they treat their customers to the highest quality by saying language like, oh, it's our pleasure to serve you. And this might seem like a small thing for management to really incorporate into their laws of working there, but it really does make all the difference and it draws people to come back. They also prioritize having the highest quality of food and a management that's very active with their workers. And then we have the Bible, and we wanted to kind of see what this said about success, knowing that the Bible is that central understanding of beliefs for all Christians. And we found that it says that in order to honor Him fully, we have to do everything to our highest ability and for to please God, essentially. So when that comes to success, what does that look like? What does that mean? So for our hypothesis, we came up with that we believe that empathy and compassion for others and those around us is what leads to success. We do acknowledge that integrity is a really big part of that, and it could be more of a stepping stone to success, but not the key traits that actually lead to success.
And for our research, we interviewed 4 different people: a pastor, a missionary, an admissions counselor, and a welcome coordinator. The pastor kind of viewed it from more of a business mindset in the way he led his church, but he didn't want to measure success by the attendance of the church because he believed that retracted from the things that the church truly should be valuing. He said having integrity is remembering what the main goal is and keeping that on top of his mind, the board's mind, the church's mind, and also praying about it. And then the missionary that we interviewed discussed how friendship is the most important character trait, and that kind of friendship he talks about is more of the loving your neighbor kind of friendship. He said that being a good friend led to success because he was loving those around him with his friendship, and because of that, God blessed him and opened the doors that he needed opened to serve better. And if we pursue living a life loving our neighbor, this will please God, which is the highest form of success.
Next, we interviewed an admission counselor, and the word that they used was diligence. This is because they are currently studying to get their PhD, so they're working full-time and being a student part-time. So in order to be successful with all of these different needs and asks happening around them, then they really just have to be diligent in order to be success, which to them is being like satisfied where they have a job. Next, we talked to a welcome coordinator, and their word was personalization. And what they meant by this was that their job is that they're that first face that you see when you walk into this specific organization. So it's really important to leave the clients and people leaving satisfied with their experience. So when you look at that in a personalized way, you want to make sure that you're being 100% yourself and being that real empathetic person that people feel they can trust and have a conversation with.
So our conclusion is that empathy and compassion are the most important traits to be successful. We have determined that these characteristics go hand in hand, since empathy is awareness of other people's emotions and compassion is the desire to take action on those emotions. So in our interviews, we learned that integrity, friendship, diligence, and personalization were important characteristics. But viewed closely, these are all in the context of empathy and compassion. And then for the creation, fall, redemption, and consummation perspective, God created people to be in communion with each other and in community together. And that was at the forefront of humanity's mind until the fall. And when the fall happened, it wasn't anymore. But when Jesus came back and redeemed the world, he reminded us that we needed to first love God and second love our neighbor. And in consummation, that will be at our forefront again when we live in eternity. And in a paradise perfection with the Lord. We've determined that empathy and compassion are traits that are most important to success in almost everything. We've seen that in the literature that we've read, whether it's business or mission work, marriage, parenting, success stems from empathy and compassion.
This brings us to our application. As we enter into the workforce and into the real world with our personal lives, not only with our relationships, but also our friendships, we want to make sure that we're successful in all aspects. And what that looks like is being pleasing to God. And that is why we chose the words empathy and compassion, because if we're empathetic to those around us and we let them know that we're walking through life with them and kind of having that like village mentality, then people are going to want to work harder, people are going to be happier, and we're all going to hone in on the same goal, which is to be successful, which is pleasing to God. And that leads us to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and do email us if you have any questions or want us to expand on anything else. Thank you.